game against Michigan Tech, but I don't know that I'll get a chance to talk to you guys again. I mean, do you have goals going forward as far as, how many games you want to win, where you want to end up, or is that private with your team? How does that work inside that locker room?
It's not really private. I mean, we want to win every game,
Right.
obviously. First off, we want to win a GLIAC championship, and then we know we have the capability of winning a national championship this year. So that's our expectations, and every week we prepare to win one game, go 1-0 every week.
Yep. You guys got a taste of it last year. I mean, I don't know how many people picked you to win against Minnesota State Mankato. Vear, you had an incredible game that night, by the way, as well. But you guys go out there and beat a really good Division II team on their turf. You've got that taste of the playoffs now. You know what that's all about. And I got to imagine with the kind of senior leadership that you guys have, you'd be disappointed if you didn't get back, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yep, for sure. I have a couple of questions that are a little bit outside the box, and then we'll let you guys go and do your homework and that kind of stuff. Is that cool? A couple of questions outside the box. Tell our listeners everything there is to know about Pat Hornak.
Oh, Pat. Actually,
you should see the look on their faces. Pat, if you're listening.
Well, it just so happens me and Pat had a little argument today about laundry bags, so I don't know really what to say, but he does a great job with the equipment and everything else. Most of the time he's pretty nice about getting us, new equipment and stuff like that when we ask for it, and he does a great job with tight ends and H-backs, so I'm happy with him.
Joe Vear's going to be a politician, I can tell you that. That was a great answer. I heard Hornak say a couple weeks ago, this is it, man. He's going to be moving on after this year, and I know I'm going to miss that guy a lot. And, your coaching staff, you have a different relationship with them, obviously, than I do, but they are so easy to work with. The guys are accommodating. They're good people. I mean, it's got to be fun to play for that kind of man like Coach Otterbein and the rest of those coaches.
Yeah, they're not just teaching us football, they're teaching us life lessons, which I think is a good tribute to them. So it is a lot of fun because, you're getting the best out of them and they're expecting the best out of you.
All right, who's the biggest goofball on the team?
Biggest goofball? Gosh.
There are quite a few candidates for that.
Nate English is up there.
Nate English came to mind.
He's definitely up there.
What is this guy's deal? I mean, sometimes I don't watch the game. I just watch Nate on the sidelines. This guy is jacked up, isn't he?
Yeah, he gets jacked up for games. He gets jacked up for practice. He gets jacked up for about anything. So it's pretty hard to keep him quiet.
Yep, another Hillsdale Hornet guy. Who is the coach who is most likely to just chew the team out at halftime?
The worst chewings probably would come from Coach Lindley.
Yeah.
As a defense.
LBs, yeah.
Yep, definitely Coach Lindley. But I think Coach Otter's been there a few times too.
I always wonder about what happens at halftime for you guys. I mean, is it a lot of screaming and shouting? Is it all just board work and making adjustments? What goes down inside the locker room at halftime?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I guess it depends what the team needs because I've seen both. I've heard the yelling and I've seen even when we're not playing well, just coming along and saying, you guys are all right, this is what we need to fix, and let's go out and do it.
Yeah, I agree. Defensively, first we get together individually with our positions and stuff like that, and it's a lot of chalk talk and, going over what we need to change and making corrections. And, unless it's just something that's, you're not up or emotional enough on the field, it's a lot of just chalk talk. But if it's not our playing that's causing us to lose a game or not playing hard, it's our emotion. That's usually when the chewing comes out. So.
Well, I asked the question because of that Saginaw game a couple weeks ago at home. I mean, we were down 7 points at halftime. You guys blew them out in the second half. They didn't get a sniff in the second half of that game, and I would have loved to have been in that locker room to see what happened, what changed between the first half and the second half in that game. I mean, because you guys played a different ball game in the second half.
When we went in as a defense to the locker room at the halftime of the Saginaw Valley game, I was not afraid of losing that game whatsoever, personally, and I know a lot of the other guys weren't either because we knew that they just had like a few good plays that they got lucky on. The punt hitting us in the back and getting the ball back and then throwing a fade route and barely catching it in the end zone to go up by one score at halftime. And we just made corrections and we're ready to play. But it's also nice being on the defense, knowing your offense, every time they get the ball, they're going to score.
Right.
And when they don't score, it's a surprise.
Right.
So.
Yep. Well said. Who's the unsung hero on your football team? I mean, who's the guy that's making a big impact that maybe isn't getting the media recognition or getting talked about a whole lot?
Well, as a running back, I'd say it could be anyone on the offensive line, but
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line is huge. Defensively, I would probably have to say Nick Hickson or Kyle Carson, our short corner, and our Sam linebacker. They've been doing a great job all season, and Nick had a great game last week, and Carson was named, Defensive Player of the Week the week before.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they step up every game. I mean, they're just not getting as many looks their way because obviously they're locked down over there. So.
Take off the pads, just go to the track. Who's the fastest runner on the team? Sprinter.
Fastest sprinter? Andre.
You guys got there pretty quick.
Yeah, he's definitely the fastest.
Man, that guy's a beast. I just love watching him play. I don't know how close you were, Joe, to that catch he made against Ohio Dominican right at the end of the half. You guys went in and scored a little bit later. Now, he got drilled, bobbled it, and then came down with it. Man, what a catch, huh?
yeah, that was great concentration on that play, and I didn't really see the hit, but I could hear it from where I was.
Oh, I most definitely saw it. I was standing right there, and he was all focus was on the ball, and he got rocked. I mean, he got
clean
hit.
catch.
Clean catch.
Good.
Very clean catch, and he got. I mean, I give it to him for taking that kind of hit and still coming back second half because he got absolutely blown.
Well, because a couple of guys on the sidelines ran up to the press box at halftime and said, man, I don't know if Andre is going to play in the second half, and yet he didn't seem to really be slowed down at all.
I mean, I think his ribs got bruised up pretty good, and he definitely got the wind knocked out of him bad. But, I mean, he's tough, and he's a player, so he's not going to be sitting out for anything small.
Who's the strongest player? 2010 Chargers, who's the strongest guy?
Strongest person. Phil Dorfler's pretty strong.
Yeah, I was going to say Dorf.
I'm not really sure. I think Dorfler probably.
There's squatting and benching, and there are a lot of different ways you can approach that question. But overall, we're going with Dorf.
I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
Pretty
Dorf.
fair.
Yeah,
Pretty fair.
pretty
Okay.
fair.
And who's the guy that at practice or maybe even during the game is the most likely to need to sneak over and see Lynn Newcomb and the training staff?
What's the question?
Most likely to see the trainer during practice.
During practice? Oh, man. Offensively or defensively? Or both?
Your pick.
I don't know. That's a tough question.
I think Mike's done a lot better, but Mike sees the trainer quite a bit.
Mike.
Blanchard.
Blanche?
Yeah.
Blanche? Okay.
He's doing a lot, but he's running real hard this year. And he's stepped it up a lot. I mean, I've never seen him bring it like he does this year.
And it's funny, we were talking about it during the Ohio Dominican game. I mean, the kid's 5'10".
Yeah,
I mean, you see the receivers in this league, they're all over 6 feet just about. And here's this little guy, and he's one of the top receivers. If you look at the statistics in the GLIAC this year, and he's not a big guy, he doesn't have a huge frame.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing some work, though, with what he has to deal with. And, I mean, you played with him at Hillsdale High School. You guys go back, and it's got to be fun to see the success that Blanche is having.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, he's a weapon. Every time he gets the ball, there's a good chance he's going to score. And, this year I've started to see him actually lowering his head a lot more into defenders instead of just trying to juke around them, and he's been picking up some huge yards just doing that alone.
Last question. I'll get you guys out of here. This weekend, Michigan Tech, they're usually I haven't seen film on them, but they're usually a big, strong, physical team, likes to pound the ball and control it. I'm assuming maybe you've seen some film on them by now. What are we looking for in this Michigan Tech game? Can you give the fans a preview?
Their defense, I know they do have the athletes, but they definitely are not afraid to hit. They're pretty physical, and that's their kind of thing. They're tough defense, and so we're just gonna have to be tougher this week.
Offensively, they want to try and run it down your throat. They want to pound it. They want to pound the sand. So they're gonna try and cram it down our throats, and we're hoping our D-line and our linebackers and DBs are gonna come up and stick it and force them to throw the ball because that's their weakness. So.
1:30 kickoff Saturday afternoon, Frank Muddy Waters Stadium. Joe Glendenning, the sophomore tailback, and Joe Vear, the junior safety. You'll see them out in the field wearing number 1 and Joey out there wearing number 32. Check them out at Frank Muddy Waters Stadium. 1:30 kickoff coming up on Saturday afternoon. Guys, best of luck to you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.